All right, are we live? I think we're live. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Jade Pellerito, and I am a pediatric occupational therapist at BDI Playhouse Children's Therapy in Orland Park. We also have a location in the Naperville, Aurora area. So today, thank you for joining me. Our topic is going to be how to help your child fall asleep and stay asleep. So I'll be talking about how to establish a great bedtime routine because routines are the number one key to success for everything in life. And I'll also be talking about some other tips and tricks and answer any questions you might have about bedtime, sleep, anything like that from an OT perspective. So we can get started. So for starters, our kids typically need about 12 hours of sleep a night, good quality sleep a night, in order to improve their focus and attention, support their brain function, and help manage emotions and behaviors. So the typical need is 12 hours a night, plus or minus some. So for infants and newborns, about 13 to 16 hours. For toddlers and preschool age children, that would be about 12 hours. And teenagers, a little bit less, like 8 to 10 hours for them. All right. So if your kids are not getting enough sleep, which can be anything from less than 10 hours a night or waking up more than 3 times a night, it could associate itself later in life with emotional and behavioral problems around age 5. So that's something that as OTs that we look for. And then also it could lead to obesity later in life as an adult. So sleep is super important. Okay, so why are OTs interested in sleep? So sleep is an essential part of daily living, and without it, it affects the way that we complete all the other important activities of daily living that we do every single day. So OTs specifically are concerned about bedtime resistance or falling asleep. We're concerned about kids waking up in the middle of the night, some irregularities in the amount of sleep kids are getting each night. We're also worried about snoring, and then if a child is sleepy during the day. So those are kind of the 5 main things that OTs we kind of look for as red flags that we might have some sort of sleep disorder or sleep routine problem. So we're going to start with talking about our bedtime routine. So creating and sticking to a healthy bedtime routine at the same time each night is crucial for kids. They need this predictability and structure to create really good habits and feel organized every single time. So I have a chart to show you guys that I made about bedtime routine. So this is just an example of a visual chart. For younger kids, you can use pictures. For older kids, you can use just words. But this is a really good example of just having a very simple routine, and you can keep this in the child's bedroom or in the bathroom for certain toileting, brushing, teeth activities. And then make it super motivating, like have them help you create this. Because this is really good for them to get involved in knowing the routine. And then you can even have fun stickers that's super motivating for kids. So they can put a sticker in each area as soon as it's complete. And then they expect the routine, they know the routine, and they sometimes even start to look forward to the routine because it's very calming. So this is just one little example, and you can make this yourself. I know there's some free online resources out there too. So this is going to be crucial for helping with your kids falling asleep and staying asleep. Okay, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about sleep for the senses. So this targets all areas of our sensory system to help kids fall asleep naturally. So the first topic is movement. So this is your vestibular system and your proprioceptive system. So kids should be moving throughout the day. They should be pushing things, pulling things, climbing, jumping, running, squeezing, all throughout the day. Getting that gross motor movement in is really important. Just as if you had a busy day, at the end of that day, you're exhausted, right? You're ready for bed. Same thing with kids. But about 1 hour before bedtime, it's important to completely switch gears and take it down, wind down, calm down, and start to get that quiet time going. So you can do this by doing some slow and rhythmic movements, either in a blanket or a rocking chair, helping children calm down, by slow, rhythmic, quiet movements. So number 2 is touch. That's your tactile system. So I would just think warmth. So a warm bath, squeezes in a blanket, giving firm hugs, even filling the bed with body pillows, blankets, stuffed animals, anything that's warm and comforting. The only caveat to that is for infants, you don't want to put a ton of stuff in their bed because they have different kind of need for sleep. They need nothing around them, surrounding them when they're sleeping. So this is kind of for older toddler age children. All right. So we have movement, we have touch, now we're listening. So this is our auditory system. So we want to bring everything down, make it really quiet. So playing soft music like nature sounds, classical music, reading to your child in a soft voice. Bonus points too, if your child is reading a book about bedtime, that's really good. We call them social stories, kind of just helping your child know what's about to come and getting that bedtime routine down. So number 4 is your sense of smell, your olfactory system. So you can always use a lotion that your child prefers with their favorite scent, or you can use an air diffuser with an essential oil like lavender is really good to help fall asleep. But I would also recommend only using lavender or essential oils for older kids about age 3 and up, and only if you know that they don't have any sensitivities or allergies to that kind of thing. But if they don't and they're a little bit older, then you can use lavender in their bath as like a kind of calming smell for them, or you can use it in an air diffuser or even rub 100% essential oil on their feet to help them fall asleep. Okay, so number 5 is taste. So that's your oral or your gustatory sense. So I would definitely avoid caffeine or sugary foods close to bedtime. And also drinking warm milk or warm water before you go to bed is a good way to help them calm down and get ready for bed, but just make sure they go to the bathroom so that they're not drinking all this water right before bed and not getting out of their system before they fall asleep. And then number 6 is look. So this is your visual system. So dimming all the lights in a child's bedroom before they enter the bedroom is a really good idea because it gives their eyes the ability to adjust to a dimmer room, dimmer lighting. And then also bright light can actually suppress the release of melatonin, which is needed to help fall asleep. So we don't want everything super bright, which brings me to my next point about screen time. So I think this one is super important, limiting screen time at least 30 minutes, but I would say 1 to 2 hours before bed because the screen or the light from the screen really helps, really disrupts entering into that REM, that rapid eye movement sleep. And then also, not only does the light kind of help you not, not only does the light from the screen prevent you from being able to fall asleep, but the content of the material that you're watching on the screen also can make a difference. So if a kid is watching something super exciting or stimulating, this could actually produce increased levels of adrenaline, which can also help, prevent the child from being able to go to sleep. So screen time, shut off that screen 1 to 2 hours before bed. All right, and the last thing that I want to talk about from a sensory perspective is that sleep is scary if your child is telling you they're scared of going to sleep. So one thing you can do is to provide a special dim night light for that child. Make sure it's dim, that it's not too bright, so that the room doesn't get completely pitch dark, because that could be one of their fears. Leaving the bedroom door cracked open a little bit is a little bit comforting for some kids, so that might help. Also providing a security object like a blanket or a stuffed animal so that they know they have their secure object, that they're calm, and it's going to help them fall asleep. So just knowing emotionally that that object is there can really make a big difference. Also, if your child is afraid of heights, like the bed is too far off the ground, you can place the mattress on the floor. This could be for a matter of weeks or months until the child doesn't have that fear anymore, and you can work on that fear and then bring back the regular bed that it does not cause problems at all. And also using body pillows or bed railings to kind of secure that child on each side really also helps make a difference for that feeling of safety. So with all this being said, it is important to understand your child and their individual needs. So if taking a bath in general is very anxiety inducing for your child, I wouldn't do that step in the routine. I would do that in the morning when they're more alert and they can deal with that a little bit better, but not as a calming method. So if they're afraid of the bath, don't give them a bath right before bed. Do a different kind of calming strategy for that child. So each kid is different. So you're going to have to kind of trial and error some of these methods to see what works for your child. Okay. So I received a couple questions that I want to answer. So the first question is it bad to wait until my child falls asleep to put them in bed and sneak out of the room? So my answer to this would be yes. Although it isn't necessarily bad, it is depriving the child of the experience of letting themselves fall asleep on their own. So it's really important for children to learn how to self-soothe and self-calm in order to fall asleep. Also, it would be a little scary if they woke up and you were there when they fell asleep and then you're not there when they wake up. So knowing that when they're drowsy is the best time to kind of put them to bed, let them know that you're going to leave the room, and then they will fall asleep. So that would be my answer to that question. I have another question coming in here. Okay, so my other kids were great about naps, but my youngest is deciding she doesn't need them. Why? That is a great question. So your youngest child is probably looking at the older children, right, and seeing that they're having fun and it's like a fear of missing out. They don't want to miss out on the fun. So the last thing they want to do is take a nap. So my suggestion for that would be have everyone kind of have that calm, quiet time at the same time. So that child isn't feeling left out. So your youngest child can start to see that the older children who are influencing her are also quieting down, maybe also taking a nap, maybe doing something quietly, reading a book, going to their calm space if you have that in your home. So that way the child feels like, okay, you know what, everyone else is napping, so now's a good time for me to nap, and they'll probably fall asleep easier that way. That was a good question. All right, so I have another question. Should I be using my child's bedroom as a timeout or punishment area? So I know that it might be automatic to say, go to your room, think about what you've done. So the room is like the punishment area, right? But the problem with that is that the child starts to get a negative association with their bedroom. So when there's a lot of negativity associated with that, then it might make the bedtime routine kind of scary because they're going back to that space where they were previously in trouble. So I would say just try to make your kid's bedroom a very joyful place that your child really, really wants to be in. And then I think that will help with falling asleep and staying asleep. All right, the next question I received is that my child has autism spectrum disorder and has a hard time falling and staying asleep. Any tips? So to answer this question, I know that it is very common for children that have ASD to also have difficulties with sleeping. Sometimes it's sensory related, most of the time. So I think it's important to establish and stick to that bedtime routine, that visual schedule, that chart, and that works every single day for your child. So that routine is the best structure, and that not only children with ASD need, but every child could benefit from that visual schedule and that bedtime routine structure. All right, so naps, another kind of important aspect of sleeping. So are naps important for toddlers? So naps are important if your child isn't getting the amount of sleep, the number of hours that they're supposed to be receiving at night. So the nap could be a good supplement to kind of catch up on that lost sleep. I also think that the timing of naps is really important. So not scheduling a nap too close to bedtime, which could keep them awake at night. So typically, for the first year of life, a child sleeps about 10 to 12 hours at night plus 2 naps a day. This is very general. This could change based on the child and the situation. So 1 to 2 years old is 1 nap a day, and that nap should be approximately 1 to 2 hours long. 2 to 3-year-olds about 12 hours of sleep at night plus a short nap. And then age 5 and up is when you're going to start to want to try to eliminate that afternoon nap if the child is showing that they are emotionally and behaviorally stable and ready to handle that. If you can tell that they're not ready, then they can continue their naps, and then try to just slowly wean them off of those naps, because then once they hit school age, they're not going to have the opportunity to nap anymore. So that's kind of why at that age that we kind of start to recommend that. Okay, what if my child wakes up in the middle of the night wanting to sleep in my bed? What do I do? So I feel like this is a very common question that a lot of parents deal with, and it is totally normal to have a child that is scared for some reason or needs something and come into your room. So this one might be hard emotionally, but it does depend on the concern of the child. So if there is a legitimate need, such as a bathroom need or something along those lines, I would definitely just take the child to the bathroom, get the need met, and then put them right back into bed, not drawing too much attention or spending too much time addressing that need. If this is turning into a regular behavior, it's happening on a regular basis, I would just promptly return the child to bed and keep repeating that if it keeps happening, if necessary. I wouldn't draw any attention to it, unwanted behavior of getting out of bed and coming into the parents' room, because it should diminish over time if it's not getting attention. And the child will know that even if he does get out of bed for any reason, he's just going to have to go back into his own bed. So that would be my suggestion. So these are all really great questions. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about a really cute game that I love. It's called Bunny Bedtime. I have it right here. And it's called the Make a Choice game. So I think it is really important to remember that although it's important to stick to your bedtime routine, make that schedule, it's also important to make it fun so that the child is motivated and wants to participate in this. So one thing that is easy enough to incorporate is letting your child make decisions about things that don't really matter to adults, like what kind of pajamas they wear, what color toothbrush they get to use, special toothpaste they get to use. So it really makes the child feel like they're in charge of their bedtime routine. And this game is really cute. Do not feel the need to go out and buy this game. This is very easy to implement these concepts on your own, but this is just a really good visual that I wanted to show you. So this one says, first I play with my toy. And so the child can choose, does Bunny want to play with his duck or does he want to play with his boat? You can ask the child, what toy would you like to play with before bed? The next one says, I use blank on the potty. So I use the big potty, the little potty. This one's really good for potty training. I brush my teeth with my green toothbrush or my yellow toothbrush. And then we snuggle in for you can choose your butterfly book, your truck book. You get to choose the book. So this game, it's for ages 2 and up, but really, really simple if you need a visual. Not necessary to go out and buy it, but just trying to reiterate the fact that making choices is a really good way to get kids involved and excited about their bedtime. Okay, so after all that being said, there are still some kids that have a hard time falling and staying asleep. So if that is the case, and none of these strategies are working for you or your family, there may be some other underlying reason why your child is having a hard time with this area. So please do not hesitate to contact us at BDI Playhouse. We do private screenings and evaluations in the clinic, and we'll always try to help you and lead you in the right direction. So most of this information that I talked about is on our website. So if you go to bdiplayhouse.com, you can go to the information section and look at our blogs. So I have a blog that I wrote about bedtime, and then there's also a lot of other blogs about a lot of other topics on our website as well. So yeah, and please feel free to ask questions, and I will try to respond to as many as I can. But thank you all so much for watching, and have a great day.